They laughed when he bragged, "She's mine at the office." My wife laughed loudest. I didn't argue, didn't make a scene. I just walked out and made one phone call. 20 minutes later, he saw me with the keynote speaker and went pale. "We have a problem," he whispered to his boss. He had no idea how big. "My name is Philip Aldrich. I'm 49 years old, and for the last 11 years, I've been the corporate risk management director at Sterling Dynamics, a Fortune 500 energy corporation headquartered in Houston. Before that, I spent 8 years at Kellerman Associates, one of the most prestigious legal firms in Texas, specializing in corporate compliance and internal investigations. I helped companies identify vulnerabilities before they became scandals. I taught executives how to protect themselves from exactly the kind of mess my wife was about to create. The irony wasn't lost on me. Lauren and I have been married for 17 years. We met at a compliance conference in Dallas back in 2008. She was sharp, ambitious, the kind of woman who commanded a room without raising her voice. She'd just been promoted to senior human resources manager at Sterling, and I was consulting on their new ethics framework. We clicked immediately. Same industry, same drive, same understanding that corporate America was a chess game, and we were both several moves ahead of everyone else. Or so I thought. We had 2 children. Emma, 16, brilliant and perceptive in ways that sometimes scared me, and Liam, 12, the kid who made me believe in unconditional love, even when biology said otherwise. I didn't know that part yet. That revelation was still waiting in the wings, ready to gut me when I was already bleeding out. The company Gala was held at the Riverside Convention Center, one of those gleaming glass structures overlooking Buffalo Bayou. Black ties, champagne towers, speeches about quarterly growth and corporate excellence. I've been to dozens of these things. They were theater. Everyone playing their part, shaking hands, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, pretending the hierarchy didn't exist while reinforcing it with every interaction. I was standing near the bar when I heard it. Chad Haynes, regional sales director, 40 years old, expensive suit, teeth too white, confidence too loud. He was holding court with 3 other guys from the sales division, drink in hand. That smirk he always wore like a badge of honor. "She's mine at the office," Chad said, his voice cutting through the jazz music and polite chatter. The men around him laughed. One of them, I recognized him as Todd from procurement, raised his glass in a mock toast. "Lucky guy," Todd said with a knowing grin. "Does her husband know he's only got her nights and weekends?" More laughter. Chad shrugged, took a long sip of his scotch, completely unbothered. "Ask anyone," he continued. "She practically forgets she's married from 9 to 5. I didn't move, didn't turn around, just stood there, champagne flute halfway to my lips, frozen. Then I heard her laugh. Lauren's laugh. Not polite, not embarrassed. Full-throated, head tilted back, the kind of laugh that used to be reserved for our private moments. For me, she was standing just 10 feet away, surrounded by her HR team. She'd heard him. They all had. And instead of shutting it down, instead of walking away, she laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd heard all night. I set my glass down on the bar, adjusted my cufflinks, didn't approach them, didn't make a scene. That would have been the amateur move, the emotional move. I walked out to the terrace instead, pulled out my phone, and made a call I should have made months ago. "Eleanor," I said when she picked up. "It's Philip. I'm ready to move forward." I didn't go back inside right away. Let them wonder where I went. Let Lauren scan the room looking for her dependable husband, the one who always showed up, always smiled, always played his part in her carefully constructed corporate image. That version of me was done. Eleanor Crane was the keynote speaker that night. She'd flown in from Boston to talk about ethical leadership and corporate accountability. Most people in that ballroom had no idea who she really was beyond her prepared remarks and impressive credentials. But I knew. We'd worked together 7 years ago when Sterling had a potential whistleblower situation that needed delicate handling. Eleanor had been the external investigator. I'd been the internal counsel, coordinating with legal. We'd buried a senior VP's misconduct so deep his own mother couldn't find it. She owed me, and more importantly, she remembered. I found her near the podium, speaking with Sterling's COO. When she saw me approaching, something shifted in her expression. Recognition, then calculation. She excused herself smoothly and walked toward me. "Philip," Eleanor said, extending her hand. "Professional, measured. It's been too long. It has, I replied. Do you have a moment? We moved to a quiet corner table, away from the crowd. I kept my voice low, my posture relaxed. Anyone watching would think we were just two professionals catching up. I need to activate something, I said. That consulting contract we discussed years ago. The one you said you'd keep open indefinitely. Eleanor's eyes narrowed slightly. The ethics review position. Yes, I'm ready to accept it. Quietly. Starting next month. She studied me for a long moment. Eleanor didn't miss much. She'd already cataloged my tension, the way I'd positioned myself to watch Lauren across the room, the carefully controlled anger beneath my calm exterior. Personal or professional motivation? She asked. Both, I said. But the work will be professional. You have my word. Eleanor nodded slowly, then reached into her clutch and pulled out a business card. She wrote something on the back. Call this number Monday morning, she said. We'll have contracts ready by Tuesday. As she handed me the card, she placed her other hand on my shoulder. Not flirtatious, not dramatic, just a gesture of professional respect, of alliance. But it was visible, very visible. Across the room, I saw Chad Haynes freeze mid-conversation. His eyes locked on me and Eleanor. Then he turned to the man beside him, Sterling's VP of Sales, and whispered something urgent. The VP's expression shifted from confusion to concern. Chad's face had gone pale. I heard him say to his boss, voice tight with sudden panic, "We have a problem." The VP frowned. "What do you mean?" But Chad didn't answer. He just stared at me, finally understanding that he'd been playing checkers while I'd been setting up a chessboard. Eleanor noticed his reaction. A small smile touched her lips. "Friend of yours?" she asked. "Not exactly," I said. "But he's about to become very familiar with your work." Eleanor's smile widened. "I look forward to it. They used to call me the Ghost. Not to my face, of course. In Slack threads, over coffee in the break room, during those informal happy hours I was never invited to. Lauren's husband, the quiet one, the guy who showed up at company events, smiled politely, and disappeared into the background like wallpaper. Chad had called me Mr. Risk Assessment once, thinking he was clever, always calculating, never acting, he'd said with that trademark smirk. He had no idea how right he was. I'd spent 6 months documenting everything, not because I was paranoid, but because I was thorough. It's what made me good at my job. You don't manage corporate risk by reacting emotionally. You gather data. You build cases. You wait for the perfect moment to deploy your findings. The hotel receipts came first. Marriott, Dallas, filed under client development. Except the client Lauren claimed to be meeting had retired 8 months earlier. I'd verified that with a single phone call. Then came the Slack messages. Lauren had asked me to help transfer photos from her work phone before an upgrade. She'd handed me the device like it was nothing. Just make sure nothing gets lost, she'd said. I'd made sure everything was preserved. Screenshots, timestamps, messages that started professional and ended with inside jokes about wine preferences and shared hotel rooms. The real smoking gun was buried in our credit card statements. 2 charges, same hotel, same weekend, 20 minutes apart. One in Chad's name for room 817. One in Lauren's name for room 819. Both billed to company cards under client entertainment. Adjacent rooms. Conference in San Diego that neither of their supposed clients attended. I printed everything. Organized it in a navy folder with the same precision Lauren used to mock me for. Then I'd locked in my home office filing cabinet and waited. 3 months ago, Lauren had asked me to review the updated ethics policy for Sterling. Some legal jargon she didn't understand. Just a glance, she'd said sweetly, "I'll owe you dinner." What she'd handed me wasn't just a policy draft. It was an opportunity. I'd written half those clauses 5 years earlier when I was still consulting for Sterling. The framework on workplace conduct, professional boundaries, and expense reporting. I knew every loophole, every enforcement mechanism, every penalty structure. So I'd updated it, strengthened it, added 3 new paragraphs that specifically addressed non-client travel with employees of different rank, personal communications on company platforms unrelated to work tasks, and behavior likely to create perception of impropriety. Lauren had skimmed my changes, thanked me, and submitted the policy to the board. It was approved unanimously. She'd never asked what I'd actually written, never bothered to read the fine print. She just trusted that her dependable husband would help her look good. Now those same clauses were going to bury her. Eleanor had texted me Sunday morning. Simple message. Call me when you're alone. I'd waited until Lauren left for her morning run, then dialed. I pulled Sterling's current ethics documentation. Eleanor said without preamble. Interesting reading. Paragraph 9 particularly caught my attention. I thought it might. I replied. You wrote this, didn't you? Parts of it. Years ago. And some recent updates. Eleanor laughed, short and sharp. Philip, you're either brilliant or vindictive. Possibly both. Just thorough, I said. Well, your thoroughness is about to make my job significantly easier. I'll need copies of everything you have. Documentation, communications, financial records. Can you get them to me by Tuesday? Already scanned and encrypted. I'll send you the access codes tonight. There was a pause. How long have you known? 6 months. Maybe longer if I'm honest with myself. And you waited. I waited. I confirmed. Because anger is temporary. But evidence is forever. Monday morning, Lauren came downstairs dressed in her armor. Navy suit, hair pulled back. That expression she wore when she was about to dominate a performance review or salary negotiation. She poured coffee, checked her phone, and barely looked at me. Late meeting tonight, she said. Don't wait up. With Chad. I asked casually, not looking up from my tablet. She froze. Just for a second. Then recovered. What? Chad Haynes. Regional sales. I assume that's who the late meeting is with. Lauren's jaw tightened. It's a departmental review, Philip. Multiple people will be there. Of course, I said. I took a sip of coffee. Met her eyes over the rim. Just curious. She stared at me like she was trying to solve an equation that didn't add up. I never asked about her schedule before. Never questioned her late nights or weekend conferences. For 6 months, I'd been the same predictable husband. Asking the same predictable questions. Showing the same predictable trust. But something in my tone had shifted. She heard it. She just didn't know what it meant yet. I'll be home by 10, she said finally, grabbing her bag. Take your time, I replied. After she left, I opened my laptop and pulled up the Sterling Company directory. Found Chad's boss, VP of Sales Robert Jennings. Pulled his email, his direct line, his executive assistant's contact information. Then I drafted a message to Eleanor. Subject, timeline. Eleanor, I'd like to accelerate our schedule. How quickly can you initiate a preliminary compliance review at Sterling? Specifically targeting expense, reporting, and interdepartmental conduct policies. I can provide documentation that will justify immediate board attention. Her response came back in under 5 minutes. I can have preliminary findings to the board by Friday. But Philip, once this starts, there's no pulling back. Are you certain? I stared at that message for a long time. Thought about Emma, about Liam, about 17 years of marriage and shared history. Thought about the life we'd built and the lie it had become. Then I thought about Lauren's laugh at the gala. The way she'd thrown her head back, completely unbothered by Chad's public claim on her. The way she'd looked at me this morning like I was furniture. I typed my response. I'm certain. Proceed. That afternoon, Emma came home from school and found me in my office. She knocked on the doorframe, hesitant. Dad, can we talk? I closed my laptop. Always. What's going on? She sat down in the chair across from my desk, playing with her phone case. Nervous. Emma was never nervous. I need to tell you something, she said quietly. And I need you to not be mad at me for waiting so long. My stomach dropped. Okay. Emma took a breath, then pulled out her phone. She opened a folder, turned the screen toward me. I've been recording Mom's phone calls for 8 months, she said. The ones she takes in her car before she comes inside. I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't want to hurt you. But I can't keep pretending I don't know what's happening. The folder contained 47 audio files. I looked at my daughter, 16 years old, carrying this weight by herself for months. Emma, I said carefully, why didn't you tell me sooner? Her eyes filled with tears. Because I wanted to be wrong. I wanted it to be nothing. But it's not nothing, is it? I stood up, walked around the desk, and pulled her into a hug. No, sweetheart, it's not nothing. But you did the right thing telling me now. The email landed in Robert Jennings' inbox at 6:47 Wednesday morning. Subject line, urgent compliance review required. Sender, Eleanor Crane, copied to Sterling's board of directors and general counsel. I knew because Eleanor had forwarded me a copy. The message was surgical. No accusations, no drama. Just a formal notification that preliminary findings during a routine ethics assessment had identified irregularities in expense reporting and interdepartmental conduct that required immediate investigation. 3 employees flagged for review. Chad Haynes was number 1 on the list. Lauren was number 2. By 8:30, HR had scheduled interviews. By 9:15, Chad's corporate car was suspended pending review. By 10 o'clock, whispers were spreading through Sterling's executive floor like wildfire. I watched it all unfold from my office, 3 floors down, calm as glass. Lauren texted me at 10:47. "Can you call me?" I waited 20 minutes before responding. "In a meeting. Everything okay?" Her reply came fast. "We need to talk tonight. It's important. I'll be home by 6. I typed back. Chad showed up to his HR interview, looking like a man who'd aged 5 years overnight. I knew because Eleanor had someone photograph him entering the conference room. Insurance, she called it. Documentation. The interview lasted 90 minutes. When he emerged, his tie was loosened, his expression hollow. He walked past his team without speaking, went straight to his office, and closed the door. His boss, Robert Jennings, was called in 30 minutes later. Meanwhile, I was having lunch with Eleanor at a restaurant 2 blocks from Sterling headquarters. Quiet booth in the back, no Sterling employees in sight. "They found the hotel receipts," Eleanor said, cutting into her salmon. "Both Dallas trips, the fabricated client meetings, the adjacent room charges." Chad tried to explain it away as coincidence. HR wasn't buying it. And Lauren, her interview is scheduled for tomorrow morning. They're being strategic, separating them, comparing stories, looking for inconsistencies. Standard investigation protocol. I took a sip of water. "What about the offshore account?" Eleanor's eyes sharpened. "What offshore account?" I pulled out my phone, opened a file, slid it across the table. Bank statements. An account in Lauren's maiden name, opened 18 months ago. Current balance, $87,000. Deposits traced back to shell companies connected to Chad's vendor network. Eleanor studied the documents, her expression shifting from interest to something harder. "Philip, this isn't just misconduct anymore. This is embezzlement. I know, if I bring this to the board, they'll have to involve law enforcement. This becomes a criminal investigation." "Good," I said quietly. "Let it." Eleanor leaned back, studying me. "You've changed." The Philip the First knew 7 years ago would have tried to contain this quietly. Protect the company's reputation. Minimize damage. 7 years ago, I still believed in protecting things that mattered, I said. Now I just believe in consequences. She nodded slowly, then picked up her phone. "I'll have this on the board's desk by end of business today. Once they see financial fraud, they'll move fast. Very fast." "How fast?" "Chad and Lauren will both be suspended by Monday. Criminal referral to federal prosecutors by Wednesday. Asset freezes within 2 weeks." I thought about Lauren coming home tonight, expecting to manipulate the conversation, to spin whatever story would keep her safe. She had no idea the ground beneath her had already opened up. "One more thing," I said. "Liam, my son, I need a paternity test done quietly. Can you recommend someone?" Eleanor's expression softened slightly. "I'm sorry, Philip. Don't be. I just need to know the truth." She pulled out her card, wrote a name and number on the back. "Dr. Sarah Vance. Discretion guaranteed. Tell her I sent you." That evening, Lauren came home at 5:30. Early for her. She looked rattled, makeup slightly smudged, that perfect professional mask showing stress lines. "We need to talk," she said, dropping her bag on the counter. "Okay," I replied. I was making dinner. Pasta, garlic bread, the kind of normal domestic scene we performed 1,000 times. "What about?" "HR called me in for an interview tomorrow. Some compliance thing. Do you know anything about this?" I kept stirring the sauce. "Should I?" "Philip, I'm serious. This is about Chad. About expense reports. Someone's making accusations." I turned to face her. "Are the accusations true?" She froze. "What?" "The expense reports. The travel. The hotel rooms. Are the accusations true?" Lauren's jaw tightened. "This is ridiculous. You sound like you already believe I did something wrong." "I'm just asking a question, Lauren." "No, you're accusing me, just like everyone else." I set down the spoon, looked at her directly. "I haven't accused you of anything. I asked if the reports were accurate. That's not the same thing." "You're my husband," she said, voice rising. "You're supposed to be on my side." "I am on the side of truth," I replied calmly. "If you didn't do anything wrong, The investigation will clear you. If you did, well, then you'll have to deal with the consequences. Either way, it's not about sides. It's about facts. Lauren stared at me like I'd become a stranger. I don't even know who you are anymore, she whispered. Funny, I said, turning back to the stove. I was just thinking the same thing about you. Lauren's HR interview happened Friday morning at 9 a.m. She'd left the house at 7:30, dressed like she was going to war. Dark suit, hair severe, that expression she wore when she was about to tear someone apart professionally. She thought she was walking into a manageable situation, a misunderstanding she could clarify with the right explanations. She had no idea what was waiting. The interview lasted 4 hours. I know because Eleanor texted me updates every 30 minutes. 9:47, she's denying everything. Claims the hotel charges were administrative errors. 10:23, just showed her the Slack messages. Her attorney is advising her not to comment. 11:15, bank records on the table. She's gone pale. 12:34, interview concluded. Lauren is being placed on immediate administrative leave. Badge deactivated. Company devices confiscated. I was in my office when Lauren called. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Philip. Her voice was shaking. I need you to come home. Now. Please. What happened? Just come home. I can't talk about this over the phone. I found her in our living room, still in her suit, mascara streaked, staring at nothing. On the coffee table sat a manila envelope. Sterling Dynamics letterhead. Her termination notice. They fired me, she whispered. Effective immediately. No severance. No benefits. They're accusing me of fraud. Philip. Fraud. I sat down across from her. Didn't touch her. Didn't offer comfort. Did you do it? I asked. What? The offshore account. The fake vendors. The embezzlement. Did you do it? Lauren's face crumbled. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Chad said it was just moving money around. Budget optimization. Everyone does it. Everyone doesn't do it, Lauren. That's called rationalizing criminal behavior. She looked up at me, eyes desperate. You have to help me. You know these systems. You can tell them it's a misunderstanding. You can fix this. No, I said quietly. I can't. What do you mean you can't? You're my husband. I mean I won't. There's a difference. Lauren stood up, furious now. Are you serious right now? I'm losing everything and you're playing semantics. You already lost everything, I said, standing to face her. You just didn't realize it until today. I walked to my office, retrieved the folder I prepared weeks ago, and came back. Set on the coffee table next to her termination notice. What is this? She asked. Separation of assets. Effective immediately. I've moved all my income into individual accounts. Removed my name from the house deed. Turns out it's actually titled in my late mother's trust, which I inherited 3 years ago. You never had legal claim to it. I've canceled shared credit cards. Filed for legal separation. Lauren opened the folder with trembling hands. Read through the documents. Each page another door slamming shut. You planned this, she breathed. You knew. How long have you known? 6 months. Maybe longer. And you said nothing? You just let me walk into this. I let you make your choices, I replied. I just made sure I documented them. She looked at me with something between rage and disbelief. Who are you? What happened to the man I married? He got tired of being invisible, I said. He got tired of being the punchline. He got tired of watching his wife laugh while another man claimed ownership of her in public. Lauren's face twisted. This is about Chad? About some stupid comment at a gala? You're destroying our marriage over a joke. No, Lauren. You destroyed our marriage. I'm just cleaning up the mess. The house phone rang. I answered it. Eleanor's voice came through calm and professional. Philip, the board has made their decision. They're referring both cases to the FBI. Federal wire fraud charges. I wanted you to hear it from me first. Understood, I said. Thank you, Eleanor. I hung up, turned back to Lauren. She'd heard every word. Federal charges? She whispered. Philip, please. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Don't let them do this. It's already done, I said. And honestly, Lauren, I'm not sure you're actually sorry. I think you're just sorry you got caught. I picked up my car keys. Where are you going? She demanded. Out. I suggest you call a criminal defense attorney. You're going to need one. I left her standing in the ruins of the life she'd burned down, and I didn't look back. Dr. Sarah Vance called me on Monday afternoon. I was in my car, parked outside Liam's school, waiting for dismissal. Her voice was professional, kind, the tone doctors use when they're about to change your life. "Mr. Aldridge, I have your results." I gripped the steering wheel. "Go ahead. Based on the DNA analysis, there is 0% probability that you're Liam's biological father." I'd known, suspected for months, but hearing it confirmed still felt like taking a bullet to the chest. "Do you need me to explain the science?" Dr. Vance asked gently. "No, I understand. Thank you, doctor." I hung up and sat there, watching kids stream out of the building. 12-year-olds laughing, shoving each other, completely unaware that their worlds could shatter without warning. Then I saw Liam. He was talking with two friends, backpack slung over one shoulder, that crooked smile that had always reminded me of my father. Except it didn't. It couldn't, because we didn't share DNA. But when he saw my car, his face lit up. He waved goodbye to his friends and jogged over, climbing into the passenger seat. "Hey, Dad," he said, buckling in. "Can we get ice cream?" "Dad." He still called me Dad. "Sure, buddy," I said. "Ice cream sounds perfect." We drove to his favorite place, got 2 cones, sat on the outdoor bench. Liam talked about his math test, about soccer practice, about some video game I didn't understand. Normal 12-year-old stuff. When he paused to take a bite, I spoke. "Liam, I need to tell you something important." He looked at me, chocolate ice cream on his upper lip. "What's wrong?" "Your mom and I are separating, getting divorced." His expression crumbled. "Because of me?" "No," I said firmly. "Not because of you. Never because of you. This is between me and your mom. Adult stuff. But I need you to know that no matter what happens, I'm still your dad. I'm still here. That doesn't change. Even though Mom did something bad." I studied him. "What do you know about that?" Emma told me. "About Mom and that guy from work. About the money." Liam's voice got quiet. "Is it true?" "Yes, it's true." "Are you mad at me?" "Why would I be mad at you?" "Because maybe if I was better, Mom wouldn't have done those things." I set down my ice cream, turned to face him fully. "Liam, listen to me. What your mother did has nothing to do with you. Nothing. You're a great kid. Smart, kind, funny. Any parent will be lucky to have you, even if you're not my real dad." The question hit like a freight train. I kept my expression steady. "Who told you that?" "I heard Mom talking on the phone last week. She said something about me being someone else's kid, that you'd probably leave once you found out. 12 years old, carrying that fear alone." "Look at me," I said. Liam met my eyes, his own filling with tears. "Biology doesn't make you my son. Love does. Time does. Showing up every day does. I've been your dad since you were born, and I'll be your dad until the day I die. That's not negotiable. Do you understand? But what if the real dad comes back? There is no real dad. There's just me, and I'm not going anywhere." Liam broke down then, 12 years of being a tough kid collapsing into sobs. I pulled him close, let him cry into my shoulder while tourists and families walked past us. "I want to stay with you," he said through tears. "Not Mom. You." "Then that's what we'll do," I promised. "You and Emma both. We'll figure this out together." Later that evening, Emma found me in my office. She'd been unusually quiet since Friday, processing everything happening around her. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always. Are you okay? Like really okay?" I considered lying, telling her I was fine. But Emma was 16, old enough for honesty. "No," I said. "I'm not okay. But I will be. We all will be." "I hate her," Emma said quietly. "Is that bad?" "It's honest. You don't have to pretend to feel something you don't." "Did you know about Liam?" "About him not being yours." "I suspected. Now I know for sure." "Does it change anything?" "Not about how I feel about him, but it changes everything else." Emma sat down. "Good. Because he's my brother. I don't care what some stupid test says." "Mine too," I agreed. She pulled out her phone. "I have something else you should see. I wasn't sure if I should show you, but I think you need to know." Another recording. This one from 3 weeks ago. Lauren's voice, talking to someone I didn't recognize. "Philip won't fight me on custody. He's too passive. I'll get the kids, the house, probably half his retirement. His lawyer friends won't help him once they know about the affair. Nobody wants to take sides against HR." The other voice, female, responded. "What about evidence?" "What evidence?" "Philip barely pays attention. He's been checked out for years. This will be easy." Emma stopped the recording. "She was planning this, Dad. Planning to take everything." "I know, sweetheart. But she underestimated us. All of us. The federal indictment came down on Wednesday. I was copied on the press release because Eleanor thought I should see it before it went public. United States versus Chad Haynes and Lauren Aldridge. Wire fraud, embezzlement, money laundering. 19 counts total, each carrying up to 20 years. The news broke at 3 p.m. By 3:30, it was trending on local business news sites. By 4 o'clock, Lauren's photo was on television. My phone exploded. Former colleagues, friends we'd socialized with for years. Everyone suddenly had questions. I turned it off. Emma texted me instead. "It's everywhere, Dad. Kids at school are talking about it. Come home early if you need to." I replied, "I'll be there by 5. Lauren called from a number I didn't recognize. Probably her attorney's office. I let it go to voicemail, then blocked the number. Chad's situation was worse. His wife, Julia, had filed for divorce the day after his termination. She'd moved quickly, retained one of Houston's most aggressive family lawyers, filed for full custody of their 3 children. Eleanor had put me in touch with Julia through back channels. We'd spoken once, briefly. She was angry, devastated, but sharp. She knew exactly what she wanted. Her children protected, and Chad's access to them minimized. He lied about everything. Julia had told me. The late meetings, the conferences, the business trips. All of it. I believed him because I thought we were partners. Turns out I was just convenient. "I know the feeling," I'd said. "Eleanor mentioned you might be willing to share documentation. Text records, hotel receipts, anything that proves the affair. I'll send everything I have." "Thank you," Julia had said. "And Philip, I'm sorry you're going through this too. We'll get through it. Both of us." Now, watching the news coverage, I wondered what Julia was feeling. Relief? Vindication? The same cold satisfaction I felt watching Lauren's carefully constructed image burn on live television. That evening, Lauren showed up at the house. I'd changed the locks that morning. She stood on the porch, ringing the doorbell repeatedly. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. "We need to talk," she said. Her makeup was smudged, hair pulled back messily. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. "No, we don't. Philip, please. I'm facing federal prison. 20 years. I need help. I need you to tell them I didn't know what Chad was doing. That I was manipulated." "Were you?" "What? Manipulated? Did you not know the offshore account was illegal? Did you not know the fake invoices were fraud? Did Chad force you to lie on expense reports?" Lauren's jaw worked. "It's complicated." "No, it's really not. You made choices. You chose to steal. You chose to lie. You chose to betray me and our family. Now you face consequences. That's not complicated. That's justice. You're really going to let them send me to prison?" "I'm not letting them do anything. You did this to yourself." "What about the kids? What about Liam and Emma?" "They'll stay with me. Full custody. You can explain to a judge why you should have visitation rights from a federal facility." Lauren's expression twisted into something ugly. "You self-righteous hypocrite. You think you're so much better than me." "No," I said calmly. "I just think I'm honest about who I am. You've been lying so long you don't even know the truth anymore. I gave you 17 years. And I gave you everything. My trust, my support, my career sacrifices so you could shine. You threw it away for a middle manager and some stolen money. So don't talk to me about what you gave. Talk to your lawyer about plea deals." I closed the door, locked it, walked away while she pounded on it, shouting my name. Emma was standing in the hallway, watching. "Is she going to prison?" she asked. "Probably." "Good," Emma said. Then she turned and went upstairs. Liam appeared from the kitchen. "Was that Mom?" "Yeah, buddy. I don't want to see her." "You don't have to. Ever." I knelt down to his level. "That's up to you. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, we can talk about it. But right now, you're allowed to feel however you feel." Liam nodded, then hugged me tight. "Thanks, Dad. Always, kiddo." The trial lasted 3 weeks. Federal prosecutors presented mountains of evidence. Bank statements, wire transfers, fake invoices, email chains where Chad and Lauren discussed exactly how to hide the money they were stealing. Eleanor testified on day 4. Calm, professional, devastating. She walked the jury through Sterling's ethics policies, the ones I'd helped write, showing precisely how Chad and Lauren had violated every single clause. Julia testified on day 7. She described Chad's lies, the late nights he'd claimed were client meetings, the hotel charges she'd questioned and been told not to worry about. She looked directly at Chad while she spoke. He couldn't meet her eyes. Emma testified on day 9. My 16-year-old daughter, standing in federal court, presenting the audio recordings she'd made. Lauren's lawyer tried to object, claiming illegal wiretapping. The judge shut him down. One-party consent state. Emma was legally in the clear. The jury heard Lauren's voice discussing the affair, planning to drain accounts, laughing about how I'd never suspect anything because I was too passive to notice. Emma walked out of that courtroom with her head high. I'd never been more proud. I didn't testify. Didn't need to. The evidence spoke for itself. The verdict came back on a Thursday afternoon. Guilty on all 19 counts. Chad sat motionless. Lauren broke down crying. Her parents, sitting in the gallery, looked 20 years older than when the trial started. Sentencing was scheduled for 6 weeks later. During that time, Julia and I stayed in contact. Not romantic, not yet. Just two people who understood what the other was going through. We'd meet for coffee, compare notes on custody battles and asset division. She was fighting for her house. I'd already secured mine. How are Emma and Liam? Julia asked one afternoon. Adjusting. Emma's in therapy. It's helping. Liam still has nightmares sometimes, but he's getting better. My kids ask about their dad, Julia said quietly. Want to know when they can see him. I don't know what to tell them. Tell them the truth. Age-appropriate truth. That he made bad choices and has to face consequences. That's what my therapist said. It still feels harsh. Harsh is honest. Lying to protect them from reality just delays the pain. Julia smiled sadly. When did we get so wise? When we stopped being naive, I replied. Sentencing day arrived on a cold November morning. The courtroom was packed. Press, former colleagues, family members. I sat in the back with Emma and Liam. Eleanor sat beside us. The judge addressed Chad first. 7 years in federal prison. Restitution of $2.3 million. Permanent ban from working in corporate finance. Then Lauren. 5 years in federal prison. Restitution of $870,000. Professional certifications revoked. Lauren's mother screamed. Her father had to be escorted out. Lauren just sat there, hollow-eyed, broken. The judge looked at her. Mrs. Aldridge, you held a position of trust. You were responsible for upholding ethical standards in your organization. Instead, you exploited that trust for personal gain. The court finds your conduct particularly egregious, given your professional responsibilities. Lauren was led away in handcuffs. She looked back once. Not her parents. At me. I felt nothing. Outside the courthouse, reporters tried to get statements. Eleanor handled them. I took Emma and Liam home. That evening, Julia called. It's over, she said. It's over, I confirmed. What do we do now? We move forward. Build something better. Think we can. I know we can. 18 months later, I stood in Eleanor's Boston office, signing the partnership agreement that made me a full partner in Kane and Aldridge Strategic Consulting. Welcome aboard, partner, Eleanor said, shaking my hand. The firm had grown exponentially. We were consulting for Fortune 100 companies, building ethics frameworks, conducting internal investigations. My reputation as the man who'd exposed corporate fraud from the inside had opened doors across the country. My first consulting fee had been $400,000. For 3 months of work, I'd used part of it to set up college funds for Emma and Liam. The rest went into investments that would secure their futures regardless of what happened to me. Emma was now 18, headed to UT Austin in the fall on a full academic scholarship. She wanted to study law. Someone has to keep fighting the good fight, she told me. Liam was 14, thriving in middle school, playing varsity soccer despite being the youngest on the team. He'd stopped having nightmares about 6 months ago. Started calling me dad without the hesitation that used to creep into his voice. Lauren had been released to a halfway house after serving 3 years. Reduced sentence for good behavior. She'd written me twice. I'd returned both letters unopened. She had supervised visitation rights with Emma and Liam. Emma refused to go. Liam went once, came home quiet, and never asked to go again. She cried the whole time, he told me. Said she was sorry. Said she missed us. But Dad, it felt fake. Like she was sorry she got caught. Not sorry for what she did. You don't owe her forgiveness, I'd said. Only honesty about how you feel. I feel like she's a stranger. Then that's okay. Julia and I had started dating about 8 months after the trial ended. Slow, Careful, both of us damaged but healing. Her kids and mine got along well. We'd taken a trip to the coast last summer, all 5 of us, and it had felt surprisingly normal. She was talking about moving to Houston. Her teaching credential would transfer. We could combine households, build something stable for the kids. I wasn't ready to remarry. Maybe I never would be, but I was ready to trust again, to try again. Chad was still in federal prison. Julia had full custody, full assets. She bought a house near her school with the settlement money. Her kids are doing well, considering. We talk most evenings, making plans, sharing stories about our days, building a foundation that felt solid. One Saturday afternoon, Emma found me in my office reviewing a contract for a new client. "Dad, can we talk about something?" "Always." She sat down, nervous in a way that reminded me of when she'd first shown me the recordings. "I've been thinking about writing a book, about what happened, about corporate fraud and family betrayal, and how we survived it. That's a big project. I know, but I think people need to hear these stories. Not just the legal stuff, but the human cost, what it does to families. I study my daughter, 18 years old, and already wise beyond her years. If you write it, I'll read every draft," I said, "and I'll support you however you need. Even if I talk about Mom, about the hard stuff, especially then. Truth matters, Emma, even when it hurts." She smiled. "You taught me that. You learned it on your own. I just showed you it was worth learning." That evening, I stood on my back porch watching the sun set over Houston. My phone buzzed. Text from Julia. "Dinner tomorrow. My place. Kids want to try out that new pizza recipe." I smiled and typed back, "We'll be there. Liam's bringing dessert." Another text came through. This one from Eleanor. "Book deal came through. Publishing house wants your story. 7 figures. Interested?" I stared at that message. 7 figures to tell the world what Lauren and Chad had done. What it cost. What I'd built from the ruins. "Yes," I typed. "Let's do it." Because silence had served me well when gathering evidence. But now was time to speak. Not for revenge. Not for vindication. For everyone still sitting in the dark, wondering if they were crazy for suspecting. Wondering if they were paranoid for keeping records. Wondering if leaving would be worth the pain. They needed to know. It was worth it. All of it. The pain, the exposure, the rebuilding. Everything. Some people spend their lives chasing revenge. I spent mine building something better. And that, in the end, was the real victory.